So I've got a posh title called Vice-Chancellor. So what does that really mean? Well, if you're at a school, I'm effectively the head teacher. And this is a really big school. It's got 22,000 students. And unusually, it's got students from all over the world, 120 different countries. That internationalisation, the same can be said about the Kirklees community. And we work very hard to collaborate on a number of projects to celebrate the distinct multicultural heritage that we have. Things from Bhangra dancing to Caribbean music. And this conference is enlivened by a wide variety of musical performances, including some that get to the heart of the issue that conflict resolutions were set up to address. The importance of collaboration is deeply embedded here at the university, and it's a key theme of this Youth Awareness Conference. New pathways for mentoring and new networks should emerge from the event both now and in the future. And this conference can make a real difference to the whole of our community, and I'm just so proud that the university is involved with it. Whatever you decide to do in your future, I hope that you look back today and you look back at this experience and you'll think, you know what, that was a turning point. That was a key point in my life. It really made me think about things. It made a difference. And most importantly, I hope it makes you believe in yourself. Please enjoy the day. Have a fantastic time. Thank you.
The Conflict Resolutions Programme covers a whole range of topics, including gun and knife crime, gang issues, postcode wars, social media awareness, respect and attitude issues, social and life skills, cultural diversity training, youth crime and education. The Conflict Resolutions Initiative is unique, as there is no other organisation in Kirklees doing what we are doing. One of our aims and objectives is to be realistic and try and achieve what is achievable, i.e., changing young people's mindset from a negative one to a positive one. If two people go for a job, one's come out of prison, one hasn't, the person that hasn't been to prison will get the job. Young people need support and mentoring, especially ex-offenders.
My name is Shane Johnson. I'm a mentor and a community leader. I'm currently working with youth in my community, and I come from a background that has first-hand experience of growing up with disadvantage and crime and poverty rates are high. Putting my experience to the fore, the work I have been doing has been able to share my journey with hard-to-reach young people in schools, youth clubs, and through one-to-one group mentoring sessions. That's been a great success. I believe in working with young people to support them to make changes in their lives and to engage through informal education, which includes social media awareness, life skills, self-esteem, and confidence building. I have been working with conflict resolution now for 2 years, and what I have learned has been a great experience. It's been amazing. Howard has always seen potential in me, as well as Alwyn, and showed that I had the ability to be and do something in life. It was hard changing my mindset, but I always had a vision and a goal. To the young people, just believe in yourself, believe in yourself, believe that you can achieve anything you want to achieve. And we all make mistakes, but it's how you bounce back. That's what I believe in. And always think positive. That's it. And to the young people out there, we want more people to believe in the young people. Everybody's trying to put them down sometimes, or this, that, and there is loads of pressure with young people, education. But it doesn't mean that you're not educated. That means you can't be a world champion, a boxer, or you're a movie star, or a rapper, or anything you want to be. But I believe the motivation is the key for the young people, and for the young youth of the day, they are the future. So if we invest in the future, the world can be a better place.
I chose to discuss this to highlight to young people not to be distracted by gang culture, knife or gun crime, and any other unsocial behaviour that may offend or harm themselves, family members, or innocent members of our communities. but to embrace education. Fall in love with books and engrave your names in history with your abilities, ambitions, and success. Value your school years and respect your teaching staff. Through them, achieve your goals. All young people in this room today have the ability to become anything they want to be. But, big but, hard work and determination have to be your driving force, not your friends. And you have to be the driver to achieve all of that.
I'm a co-founder of Conflict Resolutions with Howard Belafonte, and we deliver a program into schools which reduces conflict and enhances respect amongst young people. And we have a program lasting 6 to 12 weeks. We're going to different schools around West Yorkshire and deliver our conflict resolutions program, which in all terms is a program to prevent gang activity, antisocial behaviour, knife crime and gun crime, and to promote positive awareness to young people and promote education, universities, schools and colleges, and direct them to the path of success.
I grew up in a house full of domestic violence, went on the roads to escape what was happening at home, the reality. Throughout that journey, I've been stabbed 7 times, shot once on 2 occasions, shot 27 times on 1 occasion, and sentenced to 17 years, 10 months in jail. So I've done over 12 years in jail. So moving on, does anybody want to ask me questions?
What's the biggest lesson you learned in prison?
How can I put that? What's the biggest lesson to learn? Not to hurt your loved ones, because it's all right me going to jail, I can handle that, but it's our parents, it's our kids and all that, putting hurt on them, because it's them that have the financial struggles. Your mates ain't travelling up and down the country. And when I was in jail, I was a bit anti-authoritarian, so I went to 19 different jails, and some of them have been to 4 or 5 times. So it's putting the stress on your mum travelling around the country and so on. That's what I learned in jail. Crime doesn't pay. Crime does not pay whatsoever. You need to respect your elders, do what you're told, and don't be picking up knives and things like that, because now you're all shouting this, my G this, my G that. There's no such thing as my G. Don't be smiling. I'll be speaking to you later. Do you know? Yeah? Do you know who you need to respect? You need to respect your mum, because your mum goes out, your dad goes out. I don't know if your dads play an active role. They go out to do what they have to do to make sure you're watered, fed and clothed. Have any of you kids ever been hungry? I mean real hungry, starving. No, you haven't. Crime does not pay. If you work in McDonald's for 20 years and you're a roadman for 20 years, who do you think's going to earn the most money? Come on, youngsters. The roadman's not going to earn the most money. They might earn the most money short term, but you've got to think of the losses, what they're going to take. They're going to go to jail. Proceeds of Crime Act's going to take something off them. They're not going to be able to go on holiday. They're going to be in hostels. They're going to be restricted when they come out of jail. You could go on forever. You just need to respect your elders and stay in education, because I didn't do education when I was your age. Where did I do education? In prison. I got my GCSEs in prison. So if you don't finish in school and you want to go to the road, at some point you're going to go to jail. Do you know? The biggest gang out here is the police. And you can't go up against the police. You might get away with certain things for a few years, but at some point they're going to come and get you. And your mates ain't going to lose their life for you, and the mates ain't going to kill for you, and they're not going to do a life sentence. So stay in education and respect your mum and respect your elders at all times.
Yeah, something happened to a family member, and
They asked me to make a promise that I wouldn't go back to jail and I'd do something positive with my life. And here I am now, having worked with over 60,000 people. Done a lot of TV work and so on, just trying to live a positive life and spread positivity. To listen to your teachers, get education, because if you don't get education at school and you end up on road, you're going to end up in jail at some point, and you'll get education in jail. Listen to your mums, respect women, elders and so on, and don't put your hands on women, you know. Live a clean, legitimate life, because when you're behind a cell door, your mates that you pledge your allegiances ain't going to send you postal orders or visit you. It's going to be your mum struggling to look after you whilst you're in jail. And God forbid anything happens to you, you might get in an altercation, you might stab someone or get stabbed and end up dead. Your mum's going to end up in debt paying for your funeral, when your mates are just going to put a t-shirt saying rest in peace, and they're not even got the decency to buy a suit, but they're going to say rest in peace. I want all the kids nowadays to live in peace.
What makes you function? To come around and take the life of someone. It's like the more we talk, the more it can done. In this generation time bomb, you take another life. Oh yeah, you kill somebody in a broad daylight. What a wicked act. These are times of much living time. What is going through the youth and mind? Oh yeah, yeah. You take another life. Oh yeah. Thank you people. My name is Radiata.
I think it went rather smoothly today. People spoke from the heart, you know what I mean? Yeah, so yeah, it was a good day. Take it on board, take everything that was said today, because everything was positive, no negativity in what was said today. You know what I mean? So I would advise them to take it on board, seriously, yeah.
I'm one of 20 people who advise Her Majesty the Queen. I got this role last year. I'm still the same kid that came from Tooting Broadway with nothing. My mum and dad have both been to prison, real generational crime. I had a police officer in my area called Dennis Butcher who kept on arresting my dad when my dad was young. And I remember he retired, and I went somewhere and I'm speaking. He said to me, "You really look like a guy called Gerald Williams." No. I looked at him, I said, "Yes, sir, have you been arresting my dad?" He said, "Yeah, for years, for decades." He said, "It's really good to see that you're here and you're not doing that." Do you know how that made me feel? A year later when my brother died, do you know what policeman I went to? Do you know what I went to visit? I went to find the same policeman. Why? Because he was more than a policeman. He was a human being. It wasn't about the uniform. It was about what I'm doing, how I'm thinking, and how I'm feeling. How is your family? What's your aspirations, sir? Now, that person's the same person that gives me opportunities. So once again, the council, the community, the police, we need to come together on a joint understanding with a plan, holistic-based plan, and we move forward together. It is possible. Make it happen. It's happening over there in Leeds, just around. My middle bit, when we talk about conflicts, there's all different types of conflicts, and I'm just going to pick up on what I've heard from. But somebody asked on this side, what services or what could have been put in place in order for this young man not to have got to where he got to? Well, I'm with him. Nothing. Nothing. Do you know what needs to be sorted out? The fact that my parents are drug dealers. Because then, when are they going to say to me, "You don't have to do this, Noel"? What's their rationale? The man's saying to you, no matter what happens outside my house, what was going on in my house has pushed me to the street. This is happening every single day. And then people say, "Oh, but what's wrong with these people? They need a youth club." No, we don't need a youth club. We've had youth clubs now. Don't mock us. We need opportunities. We need employment. Youth clubs are run by people that we know. That's another thing. You know, when you went to youth club when you were young, it was always people we knew from the same estate. It wasn't people outside our community coming in. It wasn't no one giving us no real jobs. Do you know what it took for me to get to Westminster and be in this suit today? An opportunity, by God's sake. Someone give me something. We're not begging here. We don't need your money. We want an opportunity. We are willing to work hard enough ourselves. Just give us a place to do it. Come on, man. But by the time I was 12, I was locked up for 5 years. I kept on going back to prison 5 more times until I was 22. During that time, I was having war with people in there. People are trying to kill me, I'm trying to kill them. I saw a man's whole face burnt off with hot water. These are things that traumatize people. The reason I mention that is because it's trauma. Where are the people saying to you, oh, we know you guys have been in trauma, man. This is not easy. Let's get you sorted out. Let's get some things seen. And then we can get you into the roles and good positions at work. And then we can start getting you promoted. A black person, especially a young black person, is only going to aspire to see what he can see. If his own dad, his own brother, his own uncle can't even get up there, then what's he going to do? If his mum and dad are drug dealers, what's he going to do? If his mum and dad say to him, don't talk to the social, don't talk to police, don't talk to authority, lock the door, what's he going to do? It takes a very long time to come out of your comfort zone, but trust me, a lot of people are sitting in their comfort zone now. That needs to stop, people. And I'll leave you with this. I sit on 7 boards. One of them is for national counterterrorism. The other one is Catch, which is basically a youth hub run by young people. They align themselves with each other because a policeman got me onto that board. A policeman took me to Catch. A policeman gave me about 5 more opportunities to write policy for him as well. White guy too, from Leeds, my guy. Why? Because he came out his comfort zone. He's doing what he needs to be serving. He could have sat there and said, oh yeah, he's all right. But he knows that I'm the guy. He knows I'm the guy to reach the people that he needs to reach, so he's doing his job. What a guy. Give that policeman a round of applause. What a guy. Oh, actually, you know, I know I'm a police officer. Sometimes I'm in uniform, a bit hard to reach these kids, but I know a guy who's happy to work with me, who respects me. I respect him. We slept in the same hotel. We had breakfast together this morning. Love him. But there was a time I hated police. There was a time they was always locking me up, pushing me up against the wall. What I'm trying to say to you is I represent hope. Not just hope, I represent it is going to be done. It can be done. All these kids up here, I love it when I see children. All of you young people had loads of questions to ask. I'm not going to let you ask me anything because, you know, I've got things I need to keep quiet. But I need you to know that anything is possible because I was exactly that kid that you probably see up there or the kid that was sitting in prison, and now I advise the Queen. Now I work in the greatest think tank in the world with people that went to Oxford and Cambridge. I didn't go there, but I'm going to Oxford in January to do a speech. I'm going to Cambridge to do a speech. Why? Because they don't have no one like me, and that's fine. I'm happy to fill that void. I want all of you lot to fill the other void. Thank you very much. You've been wonderful.
Yeah, I think the police being there is definitely a good look. I feel like they need to understand it from the community's perspective as well. So it's good enough you're hearing it, seeing it on news, examining and stuff like that. But once you get into the community and to go to these type of talks, they get a different angle on a topic here that's very significant in our society at the moment. So the police supporting something like this here just goes to show that at the end of the day, the human beings here, that they probably have their own opinions on the situation as well. So I feel like them being there makes it come across that they want to be involved and they want to know what's going on, so that young people are seeing that they might change the perception of how police are and how they see police as well.
So this is a brand, it's Nikidai, so it's my middle name. It's named after myself. This particular model or shoe that I've got now was more or less, like you could say, you know, the highlight of the brand. It's got me in most of the places where I've managed to get it to. I've managed to get it in a few stores across the world: Korea, Japan, Paris, New York. So yeah.
So that's fantastic. So what was your role here at the youth conference? Because obviously it was very important for young people to hear your story.
Yeah, so today I came to speak and really try and inspire younger people to myself and let them know, you know, you can, whatever you decide to put your mind to, you know, it can materialize. It just starts with the first step. and just continue.
So what would be your advice to somebody young, out there, who's probably, between, going to maybe go on the wrong track or the right track? What would you say to somebody like that?
I'd say, first off, find what inspires you. I think once you find what inspires you, then think about what motivates you, and then take it from there, and it doesn't mean that every day is going to be, it's going to be changed from there. It could be one day out of a week whereby you work, you do something for yourself. Your friends are going to be there or not going to be there in the end, so at least take one day out of the week. Try doing something for yourself. Next week it might be 2 days. Next month it might be 2 days. 3 days after that, and continue, and then eventually, before you know it, you're on your own path.
I'm just here to speak about the incident where I got stabbed and try and educate people on how you can change your life for the better.
Do you want to just elaborate on that and tell us a little more about what happened to you and how you came around to?
Well, I got dragged into doing stupid things and taking stupid risks to try and achieve something that many don't achieve. And I ended up nearly ruining my life in the process. And thankfully, when it happened, it wasn't negative at the time, but fortunately it's been a big positive influence on my life, and it's changed the way I see everything and how I interact with people, and it's made me develop a lot of empathy so I can try and help other people in the same situation as me. Because you see the people, you see your friends as people that you're always going to be around, and you think that their ideas are good ideas, but once you realise that they aren't, you see that people that aren't bringing anything positive to your life don't always need to be there. You don't need to just have them there. You can take people out of your life. You can bring people in which will bring positive things.
What would you say to any young person who's thinking of going down the other direction, that direction which is dangerous and not going to be good for them later on in life? What would you say to a young kid about that? What advice would you give them? You've been there.
I say there's other paths and you're not trapped. Just because you can only see one route at the moment, it doesn't mean that behind a wall there's another path, and that path could be much more prosperous. You could bring great things to your life, make your mother proud. Because me getting arrested and doing all this stupid stuff, that's not going to make my family happy.
If you ride for your bros, you die for your bros, yeah. Horror of the juice is that fire in the movement. It's the level up, liquor with the 7-up. I smell cold feet down me, shut the door when you getting up. It's just champers in the air when I see you getting wetted up. And when she says take a break, I tell her I can't get enough. I'm digging deep, this is deeper than rap. Some Chris in the top spot, strategize and attack. The top shot will stay prayed up. Late nights I stayed up until it's my time. It's God's plan for me to wake up. Hands together for these small mercies. I'm beginning mercy now. What you think this is? See the struggle from far. I don't blow my paper. Stack and send change out to Ray in Jamaica. Pardon me, I ain't got time to check your stories. If I don't put in this work, then I'll be sorry. Number 10, I'm on the field, but I'm moving steady. Man, I'll be the party pooper till the drop comes steady. It's the simple things I love that don't cost a penny. Mama brothers be receiving, reminds me of my dad D. I know he knows what I believe in, put that on the family. Yeah.
I didn't really have a good education at school, very angry. I'm very fed up with these negative images hitting me all the time. I lost my mother at 14 and became very angry and disillusioned with the system. My father's a big disciplinarian. I lived in an environment just down the road, Fartown High School. I went to Birkby Juniors, Deaton Juniors I went to, and I feel quite privileged because I went to Deaton, where a lot of us went to as a junior, and then as a secondary modern school pupil, I went to Fartown, which I knew everybody that came from Birkby. Between 1973 and 86, I was involved in gang activity. And as what somebody said earlier on, I can't talk about too much of that, right? But I will honestly say I was involved in gang activity to fight against racism. 1980 to 86, I joined the Royal Air Force. I was going down the wrong road. I decided to join the military. And I can tell you now, there had been no gang bigger than the Royal Air Force or the Army. And I found out I wasn't that hard after all. I cried for the first 2 weeks. Nobody ever spoke to me in a way like that, and I didn't punch them. Nobody ever gave me an hard time, and I didn't tell them what I thought of them. I was I was lack of filters, no discipline. And I did 2 Northern Ireland tours, 3 years in Germany and 6 months in Cyprus, and it straightened me out. The hardest time of my life became the most beneficial, a bit like, I think it was Darryl who was talking about, when you go into these kind of institutions, you either sink or you come out, hopefully, a better person. In 2003 to 2009, I was involved with research on gang activity for the Yorkshire and Humber Home Office. The objective was to look at viable alternatives to gangs. We researched 9 Kirklees schools, both north and south. We was in York, Leeds, Bradford, Huddersfield, Manchester, Birmingham and London. And I also had the benefit to go and work in the US with Boston, Massachusetts Police Department and Los Angeles Police Department, South Central. We spoke to teachers, parents, shopkeepers, pastors of the church, community activists, local businesses, the youths themselves, and the local authority. And this is my first kind of message, that no gang strategy is ever going to work unless you've got those key players involved right from the start. Not operational, strategic. This is what happened in Boston. In 10 years, Boston was the capital of crime in the 1990s. And this particular day, a young man had been shot. On the day of the funeral, the rival gang came in to the church and started shooting up everybody again and turned over the casket. It absolutely horrified everybody, not just in Boston, but the whole America. And within 10 years, Boston became the least violent city in America. Are we really going to wait for that to happen before we all start respecting where we're coming from and what we're doing? Okay, do we need to wait for something as bloody as that and as violent as that before we start to engage? Street life coaches, there are young men and women who work in the communities who don't necessarily have a qualification. Why can't we give them NVQs and give them qualifications for their hard work? That even if they do the work in their community as volunteers, they can go into another community and actually be paid for. We're not investing. I think we're throwing money to the problem to contain it. We're not throwing money into the issues or the problems to resolve this. Somebody said, I think it was Noel, talked about opportunity. These young people and adults need an opportunity to go and work, and they need skills. And they're falling out with the education system. So why can't we educate them in our own communities? Message to the young people. Ability, everybody in here has ability, even the adults. Ability opens the door, but it's your attitude. Listen to the teachers who challenge you. Not to the teachers who challenge you want to get in your face and tell you that, where's your pen, where's your pencil? Yeah, when your mum or your father, if we're fortunate to have those parents around, ask you to sweep the stairs, there's normally 13 steps to every flight of stairs. You've done 3, but the other 10 is like you forgot how to hold the brush. That's what I'm talking about, attitude. Application. Apply yourself. We used to run a lot of football coaching courses for professional clubs, and many of our lads were talented footballers. But when the coach was talking, they were looking over here, and they'd get released. When a teacher's talking, when a coach is talking, when somebody who's going to educate you is talking, give them the eye contact. You've got to have ambition. You've got a license to dream, young people. Have a license to dream. If you don't even know what you're good at, ask your friend, ask your teacher, ask your parents, ask your uncles, ask your aunties, ask your cousins, because we've all got something that we're good at, or somebody might see something inside you that you're good at. And the last one is altitude. How far do you want to be successful? Thank you, everybody, and God bless you all.
This is one of the best conferences I've ever been to, because they've got the right role models, people that have actually been through it and not somebody that's just telling a story or something they've heard. Like, I absolutely loved, I'm so inspired to hear from people who've been through it, been to prison, come back out. Like, I can relate to them people more than somebody that's just telling me to do better with my life. So yeah, it's been great.
You've obviously done very well for yourself. You're a performing artist. What are your goals?
My goal is to be on a big enough platform to inspire a nation, basically. I do a lot of singing. I was able to go to America to record my debut single, Bradford Baddie, which I will be performing today. And then from there, I've modelled for Vogue magazine. I've also done London Fashion Week, Africa Fashion Week. I was filming with ITV2 last night for a new TV show called Don't Hate the Player, so I'll be featuring on the last episode of that. But I'm from Bradford basically, and I'm not too proud to say where I come from, and I'll always say I'm from Bradford because I'm an example of no matter where you come from, you can always be somebody and aspire to be better. Are you ready? Hey! Bradford, 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 I see you trapping, Bradford, so that's for your life, but that's for your heart. Still, I'm not this happy, that's smart. You feel me, that's like a UK shit. I see that it's hands for your UK shit. Watch my kids, baby, watch these switch. I'm so lit, Bradford shit. In my song, I'm rapping now, I'm rapping Hollywood. Bradford, baby, steady beat, never know what's good. In my song, I'm rapping now, I'm rapping Hollywood. Bradford, baby, steady beat, never know what's good. We say all day, we say all day, we say all day. We say all day, we say all day, we say all day, yeah. Thank you very much.
I know it was mentioned about like youth clubs and stuff and how it can't really be effective, but I think it was Daryl that was saying no two things work for the same people. So hopefully someone will receive something from the stuff that we're doing, and with some of the links that we're creating, there's my friend Elliot up there who's also working with some of the churches around Huddersfield, doing some things together, something a bit like the Youth Alpha, which has started recently, which is just to encourage young people from the ages of like 11 to 18 and just sort of build their faith if they're looking in that sort of thing. And it's just doing little things and hopefully being more active in the community is what sort of I'm aiming for and what we're aiming for as a church. It's all right being in the four walls of the church and sitting pretty and looking nice, but it really needs to be more out there, more outgoing, and be engaging with the people in the community, because it's our community and it's a bad reflection on us if we're not impacting the community that we're in. So like I say, for the future, hopefully with some of the youth initiatives that we'll be starting, we'll be doing stuff like creating opportunities as well, creating learning opportunities in terms of like music. You've heard a lot of music today, which I can say has been really good. The quality of the music from Huddersfield is a very talented town, I must say. The quality of the music, obviously we want to keep on building on that. We want to teach like sound and music, and I myself am a bit of a musician, playing piano and stuff, so passing it on and bringing the young ones up with us to sort of be good role models. So in short, I believe that not only my church but all the churches around the area can come together and really impact on this community. So.
Well, I'm here, to enlighten everybody and let everybody know what I do, and and just to kind of like back up the guys and show the guys in a positive light, basically. Well, I've worked in youth work for over 13 years, and I work for a youth charity called Hackney Quest, which has been going for I would say about 30 years, and we're based in East London, and we're based on Wells Street, which is like there's a lot of trouble around that area. So we try and engage with like the young people to come, go on trips and do stuff like that, basically.
What do you say to young people? Because there's not a lot out there for them at the moment. There's cuts in policing, there's cuts in social services, there's cuts everywhere. But I still think that young people can make it out there. How do you feel?
No. Young people can definitely make it. What I find like with young people is it's lack of knowledge. The more knowledge you give young people, the better choices that they've got. They can either say they're going to do a right or they're going to do a left. But what they need is the knowledge, the information. So what we do as youth workers is we give them that information, so then they can make like informed decisions and say, okay, yeah, I want to become this, or I want to become an architect, or I want to do this. So that's what we're there for as youth workers, is to like inform the young people, to enlighten them.
Yeah, we got things in socks. Yeah, I got a bad boy tip for a buck. Me and my G's on bricks and blocks. YG's smoking in work for a box. No, we don't care about jobs, but we're out here trying to get paid off box. We be outside, got a two-ball squad. This is that life on street inside. Watch where you look, it's beat, it's bad. Yeah, we got screaming out, cat, it's bad, but we care for a place, so call this man. So a knife at hand, always on deck, my guys are gang. I got big twice, that y'all like the band. This is that life I chose, I stand. Sweet. Many die, your mothers cry, your shoulders up to the shoulder teeth. As for them, yeah, I love the beef. Stab them up, make mothers grief. Draw blood like a hungry leech, pop pagan down right underneath. Close hell, I don't know better. Cut him up with that chrome weather. Close side shit, soul tether. Horn stock with some old leather. On the block with my people then. Very soon the XP for them. Times change, I jump in what 3 years ago, my name was my friend.
Music saved my life. When I was on the streets as a kid, music's all I knew, and it was my way of expressing my feelings. It was my way of showing who I am in the community, and it was my outlet. That's why I got involved in music. As a kid growing up, I was on the streets myself. I was able to turn my life around, and I see myself as I want to give back, and I want to show the other kids that they can do it as well. And this conference, what they set up today, is fantastic, and we need more stuff like this. We need more people coming together, organisations working together. Me, myself, I do have organisations for the community, and I want to expand even more. So I'm just here to share my story and show the kids that they can do it as well. I would say to a young person that you don't have to follow everybody else. You don't have to settle your situation. You can do more in life, and you just got to believe in yourself. And I would say to any young child, youth, that if you've got dreams, chase them dreams. Don't let no one ever distract you from your goals in life. And I'm just a prime example that I won't stop until I achieve everything that I want to achieve, and I want other kids to be able to believe that as well.
But one thing that I'd say from my perspective is, be a lion, because a lot of people can fall into the trap of just following their friends because they don't really know much better, or they're not getting much guidance. So try to be your own man, try to be your own woman, and don't follow your friends, and know that there is more to life than what you can see with your eyes. You have to believe and follow your dreams and just chase your goals and have faith in yourself that you will get to the top one day.
First of all, I don't even believe in knife crime. That's going to hurt your head, right? Don't believe in gun crime. That might hurt your head. You lot believe in knife crime and gun crime, right? You lot believe in gang members as well and all of that stuff, don't you? Right? Cool. So you're now talking to someone at the moment who appears to be a bit deluded, right? You want to keep that quiet. Cool. Knife crime. I've been stabbed a lot of times. I've done a lot of stabbing myself. I'm not proud. There is no knife crime. There is no gun crime. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. Knives don't kill people. People kill people. I'm sick and tired, and I'm a bit bored and it's a bit outdated that we're still having the same conversations about what a gang member is. Why is the word gang being used so readily? Gang member is to describe a criminal, organized group. Most of these guys who are getting caught up on the streets don't know what the hell they're doing. These youths are being criminalized from a young age, and they don't really know what they're getting themselves into. I hear people always talk about, well, he knew what he was doing. He knew from right and wrong. I got stabbed at 14 here when I was younger. After that, I picked up a knife and started doing my own stuff. I was told many a times, you lot are gang members. I said, how does that work? Someone explain this to me, because I didn't see it that way. Yeah, I was violent, but being a gang member doesn't really sum it up. A lot of people, even rappers, I've been in the rap game, have friends in the rap game for years. You hear, big up the two boys who rapped as well. But if you hear how people rap, They're rapping from an ego perspective and things that they do and what they have and what they own. Now, for me, a lot of these young kids on the streets are listening to those rappers, and I'm not putting any ownership on these rappers. This new debate about the rappers being a problem, they're not the problem. They're also prisoners to the streets, a lot of them, but they're not to blame for where we are now. Lack of self-worth is to blame for where we are. Self-esteem. Learned behaviors. I'll tell you about my workshop. I had to devise a workshop for people because people weren't getting this book. But before I go into the workshop, I'm going to explain what this book has done so far, in case you lot think I'm just up here running my mouth. A young man in London killed a guy called Komari Barnes. Who's heard of that? I don't know what news you guys get up here. He went to the judge, told the judge, I read this book while I was in remand. I'm confessing for my crime. I killed your son. I'm sorry. Now I've read this book, I understand that I'm a prisoner to the street. And even though I committed the murder, I am not my behaviors. Do you understand that? Just because you do something, it doesn't make you your behaviors. He's a young child who's made a mistake. He can't bring back the person he killed, but he's genuinely remorseful. He read this book and got that message. Someone said to me, so how is the book going to work? How's the talk going to work? Well, it's simple. It's very simple before I go. If we put this book on workshops in the schools from year 6, year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, year 11, starting from today, for example, and every year we're teaching our children all the way through from year 6 to year 11 that these guys who are repping the street ain't gangster, to shoot isn't gangster, to stab isn't gangster. In fact, they're the cowards. You lot are praising the wrong things. I hear man always talking about, man, run up on the yard, and brother, if it's me and you in a room, you ain't doing none of that on the microphone. Everybody's fronting. So my thing is, we need to be honest where our fears are coming from. Why we hang around with 10 people? Why are we carried away? Let's teach people. Let's try to understand the mindset. You can only fix the problem once you understand the mindset. Guys, I'm done. Please invest in what I'm saying. Let's move. Let's move.
A lot of people told me that they wanted me to write something because they knew that if I was going to tell an honest story. I suppose just hearing other narratives about the streets, films, books, it wasn't a good feeling. Being in university at the time, I think I was studying youth justice criminology and very disengaged with a lot of the stuff I was learning about what these young individuals were and all these gang labels and all this knife crime, and it didn't sit well with me. So I had to tell a story with somebody who stabbed me about how it really started, what it was really about, because all of the labels wasn't making sense to the behaviours. And I just wanted to be a part of the change, and I realised that that book literally is a massive, after writing it, it's 10 times bigger than what I thought it was ever going to be. So it's very intelligent, it's not written from an ego perspective, it's an honest portrayal of how you feel after getting stabbed when you do the stabbing. It's not about being a gang member, it's not about good or bad, it's about learnt behaviours. There's a psychology behind this. And my book, Prison to the Street, is explaining that it's a mindset that we are trapped in. No wars and knife crime or gun crime. Once we can relieve ourselves from a certain mindset, we can be free from the cancerous disease that we're stuck in.
Hi, my name is Shannon. I'm 13 years old. I attend North Huddersfield Trust School and I've lived in Deaton for 6 years. There is a lot I like about our community. It is very diverse. We have many different ethnicities and cultural backgrounds. I enjoy learning about other people's lives and how they choose to live it. I'm involved in the Caribbean Carnival and have been dancing for many years. It can be worrying. There is a lot of crime being committed, people carrying guns and knives. I think more young people need to be educated so they understand the consequences of their actions in order to solve these dilemmas. Police in our community are not supportive. They don't know how to speak to young people. We need to work together and change our community for the better.
Hi, my name is Angel. I also attend North Huddersfield Trust School. In our community, we accept each other's differences, we embrace them and like to learn about them, but there are many divides in our town which include gangs. We know that going to school is important and getting a good education will give us a variety of options which will lead to a better future. We just want to enjoy being young and not have to worry about all the crimes that are being committed today. Thank you for listening.
From listening to the different people, it's abundantly clear that the problems that we're dealing with today aren't and haven't been created in the last few years. We're talking about 75 years of a community that was welcomed into the country to try and rebuild it after the war, but encountered quite overt forms of racism and structural racism ever since. And the promises that were offered 75 years ago haven't materialised, other than probably the weather description when it was first advertised around the empire. How are we going to overcome those things? The impact of discrimination, whether it's overt and extreme to your face, is a massive impact on people's self-esteem and affects the sense of safety in the place that they are. In the medium term, I think it's incredibly important that we open up a dialogue where we can learn from things just generally about our strategy and our policy, but also to talk through some of the things that happen live time as incidents. Because the actions of the police are governed by so many different people that actually it can be very difficult at the time to explain why we are doing a certain thing in a certain way. That form of education will help bring down some barriers. There's different people describing the problems that we're facing in different ways. The biggest thing, I think the first speaker said what it's going to take is he just went like that, didn't he? Money. Okay. There is lots of money in circulation, I'm not going to lie. There's tens of millions of pounds, but it's getting smaller and smaller. But thank you again to the people putting on the conference. I hope the day's been as useful to you as it has been to me, but thank you very much.
Intervention from a very early age to provide young people with resilience and life skills. We need a strong network of positive activities for young people. We need to be working with parents to provide support in tackling youth crime and violence. Outreach work with those directly involved in gangs and violence. Involvement of young people, families and communities to ensure their voices and concerns are heard. Development of positive employment and training opportunities, and working with grassroots organisations who are on the streets working with these young people. I want to say a special thank you to all our funders and sponsors. A special thank you to Kirklees Council. Special thank you to West Yorkshire Police. Special thank you to Local Services to you, Andy Petrie, Manager of Local Services, who's given us the greatest support. A special thank you to you, the audience, for coming, because without you, there would be no conference. Special thank you to all the schools who have come to the conference. And a special thank you to anybody who I've missed. So people come to me afterwards, oh, you didn't mention me. I might have forgotten, but thank you to everybody, the performers and the speakers. And then can I say a special thank you to the University of Huddersfield, the landlords, our hosts. For the last 6 months, the conflict resolutions team, myself, Alwyn, Shane, have been working closely with Laura and Sibylla. Can you put your hands up, please? They have been a tremendous support. We came to them with the idea, and they backed us and supported us all the way. All the help we needed, nothing was too much trouble for them. So can you guys come on stage, please? I want to make a presentation to you. So for Laura and Sibylla from Huddersfield University, a big round of applause. Yeah, like I said, nothing was too much trouble for these two ladies. So, thank you for coming, everybody. Please see Robin about his books and whatever. This is the first of an annual event. Between now and next year, we'll be doing something, a smaller event at Northfield Hall. But next year, the first Friday in October 2019, the second annual Youth Awareness Conference. Thank you for coming, everybody.
This conference has helped me to be a lot more empowered to go out and achieve and help others to do better that aren't doing so well. When you're in a good position in life, it's easy to forget about people that aren't in a good situation, so it's empowered me to empower other people as well.
I've come here today to support Howard and all the team in what's happening. It's a powerful conference, if you want to call it a conference. We've got some great inspirational speakers, and the fact that it's in a university for the first time and powerful speakers are speaking to frontline organisations like the police, people in education, the councils who need to hear these kind of stuff. People in our community have put small events on like this in the past, but we haven't had the right audience or the right demographic of people to come in together and make it work like it has done today. Today's been really powerful.
Currently in university studying psychology, criminology, which is my forte. My vision is that I want to be one of them people that shows you can change your life around. Just don't leave it too late. And there's ways and means that you can go from it from a young age rather than waiting for life experiences. The only thing that changed me as a person is life experiences, experiencing things, seeing things firsthand. If I'd have been told it, I wouldn't have believed it. I want young people now to believe it when they're getting told it rather than see it to believe it.
It's been a good conference. I've enjoyed all the music, and as many as the speakers said, no matter where you live, no matter what background you come from, there's always opportunities out there. You've just got to take some responsibility and initiative and go out and find them.
These things that lead us into a different roads of bad paths, and these somewhat opportunities, some people may call it, are nothing but something that hinder our growth as a people in the community. For example, giving us criminal records, which will make it harder for us to get jobs and make our future and opportunities more limited.
Really good event. It's really gone very well. The feedback that we've got of people that was here is, it's overwhelming. Like I says, the feedback has been very positive from everybody who attended. Some really good, really good testimonies, stories, experiences. People, they never held back. They just talked it as it is. Really good. People participated, the speakers and whatever. Really good. Young people that want to see change or want to change their life or are involved but want to change their life will take a lot back from this conference. Right? People, the school teachers, they will take a lot back from the conference because the messages was very positive. A lot of these guys who came and spoke, how they turned their lives around. The message they were sending out was very positive and clear. There's no diluting the message. The message was clear. And this is the way forward. This is the way forward. This was a grassroots organisation-led conference. So it wasn't led by the council. It wasn't led by the police. It wasn't led by the youth offending team. It wasn't led by no other agency. It was led by us. And everybody got involved.
Every praise is to our